He's whistling already. His favorite thing about Wednesdays.
You know, I've been practicing popping corks.
Have you? To make it sound like that?
From my deck to the lake. And I nearly hit the lake yesterday.
Oh, how far is it?
It's about 35, 40 yards. It's all downhill, though.
We're going to find out how many of these he's done. Have you missed out on our Wednesdays? Wet Your Whistle Wednesday. Chuck Gillentine is my guest. He is the owner of Defiance Ridge Vineyards. And I'm going to show you a really cool video that was taken here. If you've never been, kind of give you a little overview of what it looks like. We're going to talk about something today that I think is very interesting. So sometimes we have fun together. Sometimes we educate you. Today is education. Volatile acidity.
Yes, it's not a good thing.
Uh-oh.
But it happens in the wine business quite often. If you don't have any control of processes, like we make all our local wines, everything from the West Coast is brought in from other winemakers, and sometimes you have a hiccup. And
well, you have that when you drink too much wine too.
Yeah, well, that's true. But that's usually self-driven. This is usually caused by someone not paying attention, cleanliness in a winery or something, and we can discuss it. But it's I think it's the second time I've had to deal with this in 15 years.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it's the first time it was a much larger run. I think it was 10,000 bottles. And we turned around and just made sweet wine out of it, which out in this area in Missouri, sweet wine sells.
Sure.
So, but this is different. This is a high-end Pinot Noir.
And it was from the West Coast, right?
It's from the West Coast, and it's a situation that there was a little turnover in the winery, and I was there the week of bottling, and I thought there would be an issue just because the winery itself was not as clean as it should be. And you kind of think, okay, what's going to happen to your wine? And of the 6 wines that we got, this one turned out to be a problem. There's a couple of them that could be a little bit this way, but nothing like this. And
how many did you get in?
There were 6 different wines, but most of them are good. In fact, 3 of them are fantastic.
So just one batch.
And this Pinot Noir turned out to have, we sent it to a lab just to verify, but when I opened it, it just, and you'll be able to tell. It's
and that's a question, by the way, that I asked Chuck. So if you're just tuning in, let me reintroduce Chuck Gillentine, again, the owner of Defiance Ridge Vineyards. And we started right off, they're asking you, what's going on with the volatile acidity?
I got that.
So will this happen to... You said it was only happened to you twice.
Yeah.
Right? So what about home winemakers?
Well, I'm sure it happens all the time with home winemakers, and they just don't see it or realize it. They may just think that's the way it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. It all comes down to cleanliness and starting with the barrels and keeping them, spot clean after you use them, older barrels, really steam cleaning them out. And then when you're have wine, red wine, it normally happens to red wine. When you have red wine in barrels, wine evaporates in the barrel. Mm-hmm. So you got to top it. And winemakers are used to topping wines, probably every 2 or 3 weeks, you want to keep it as full as possible. Oxygen sets in, and that's where the problem really starts. It starts turning, that air gets in, and it starts turning it into a vinegar.
So that was the question I had asked. Will the everyday drinker that's not really into wine. So let's talk about people that come here, right? A lot of times they just drink sweet wine here in Missouri. If they are given this and they'll be like, oh, well, is this what dry wine tastes like? Maybe I wouldn't know. You say that we should be able to taste a difference and smell a difference.
Well, you'll certainly be able to tell a difference. Okay. Anybody that buys a bottle of wine that's on the reserve side of it usually knows what they like.
Right.
And if you can't tell the difference of a great Pinot, which I'm fortunate to have probably 3 cases of their vintage 21 personally, mm-hmm. that is fantastic. In fact, in a couple of weeks, we'll taste one of them.
Okay.
This is vintage 22, and it's not even close. But back to the question.
Yep.
A normal person that comes out just to have fun and drink wine, they may just buy this bottle of wine and just think that's the way it is, and but we're tasting it right now, but we're not selling it. And we're going to try to work our way through it. I may end up, in fact, I've been told, and I've read a lot about this, the high VA wines could be good blending wines with very acidic wines that are tart.
Okay.
So we may try that.
Well, and that was the question. So, right, you're seeing wine, vinegar. What causes a wine to turn? How often is this happening? I want to thank Ashlyn. Ashlyn is at home, and she just dropped a couple of articles that Chuck actually provided for me talking about what is volatile acidity. So, you've got this wine in. This is the wine, by the way, that turns?
This is it, yes.
And we're talking about turning, tainting. Tell them what that means.
Well, it happened during the winemaking process. It was there before they bottled it. And it's shocking to me that it got bottled because it's already there. When it normally smells like fingernail polish. That's a good classic. Even though it's in there, you can tell it's got high alcohol that's happened during the process. But it also tastes, unlike a Pinot Noir, it tastes very pruny, and it just it tastes a little different than it smells. I think it actually tastes a little better than it smells. But still, it just happens by faulty winemaking.
If you have any questions, by the way, while we're on, please drop in your comments. Before we do this, I'm going to show you a video of how beautiful it is here. If you have not been out, I know a lot of you have, and I appreciate that because you've been coming out ever since we started this. This was back in...
It's been February?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. We did this big lead up to Ruby Lee, which, by the way, she was asked to play at the Grand Ole Opry again.
Again, that's great.
We need to go, by the way, because did you see who's performing with her? Or I should say the same day as her. Okay, there's some big names. So if you remember a duet between Reba McEntire and Linda Davis, Does He Love You? Do you remember that? Linda's playing that night.
Wow.
And Trace Adkins.
Oh, my.
I know, right? I was like,
Trace
okay,
Adkins.
She's got a good bill this time. So she was out here, by the way, and there's some really great music coming up that we'll run down. You can find all that on their website, DefianceRidgeVineyards.com. How long ago was this video shot?
Oh, that's been a while. We need a new one. Step it up. There's my son, Justin. This one's been a couple years.
So we need a new one, but here's the thing though. We're looking at all these people in the staff. They're all still here with you because they love you.
Well, they, I get along with them. Let's put it that way. Very well. I leave them alone and
let them do
they really appreciate it.
Yes. So again, this is Defiance Ridge Vineyards. Come on out, enjoy some good wine because they have great wine here, great food, wonderful bands coming up, all these wonderful dinners. You just had the one with Tony Tomato, right?
Last week, had over 100 people.
Oh, wow.
It went great. Great recipe. The food was fantastic. We're having our October 9th dinner featuring Reeves Family Farms.
And that's they're
in Missouri.
Right? The special meat?
Yeah, they're in Western Missouri, and the menu is going to be great. Their beef is amazing, and then I'm putting the final touches on the November dinner, which we'll be working with a winery from Sonoma. We went through the tasting yesterday, and I'm excited about that one too. It's not totally finalized yet, but we'll have it done by tomorrow.
And again, keep checking the calendar of events that they have on their website to find out how you can get these. Maybe you want to buy a gift certificate for someone coming up for the holiday. That would be a really cool thing that they would enjoy. Give them maybe a gift certificate to come to one of those dinners in advance. So one of the things we're talking about today is more from an education standpoint. Like I mentioned, if you look in the comments, whether you're watching live now or you watch this later, Ashlyn dropped in, what is volatile acidity? So if this happens, Chuck, besides trying to, like you're going to do, blend it with another batch of something else, what can be done? You don't want to just toss it.
Well, this is such a small batch that the only really thing I could do is try to blend it with maybe like Chambourcin or something. Well, Chambourcin's very tart. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I was working on a blend today and throwing some things together, and it actually makes a really nice blend with a little Chambourcin, a little Chambourcin Rosé, and this
and tainted Pinot.
But it went away just because the Chambourcin is tart and it kind of takes over.
Interesting.
No,
you might make something magic with this. You don't know.
Well, we'll get through it one way or another. We're working the deal out with the winemaker.
Well, that was my question. Like, if they're
being
sending
responsive,
like that. Okay,
they know that the wine is it was blamed on the previous winemaker in the 22 vintage, which I figured that, but we'll figure out something.
Well, your question, like your statement, I should say, would be my question of there's a lot going in. I mean, if you've ever watched a process, and you need to, when you go to a winery, ask to see the behind the scenes aspect so they can see all this. As they went through that, how did they not know before they bottled it that there was something wrong?
Well, that should have been known.
Yes.
I mean, there's no question it should have been known. There's not an answer. There really is not an answer. So.
And how much of this wine was made?
Luckily for us, we only had, since it was the high-end reserve wines, we only had a pallet. So it's only 2 barrels.
But they shipped that out to how many? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know if who else may have purchased from them or not. My guess is probably maybe somebody else. They don't do a whole lot of this custom crush, but that's my guess. But it's just funny that all the other wines are so good and crisp, and I don't know. It just should have never been missed.
Well, and again, so attention to detail is so very important in life.
For a winemaker, of course it is.
And just in life, right? So this is stuff where you slow down a little bit and you're like, nope, we got to do something else to this. That shouldn't have happened. Hopefully they'll learn from that, because who knows, besides Chuck, who else has it? And they're having to make amends with this.
Before you bottle it, you always filter, you always taste throughout the process.
Sure.
And it just doesn't happen overnight. So
if you're just tuning in, you can see we're at Defiance Ridge Vineyards with our mobile Monica. We do this every other Wednesday, unless he or I are out of town. We are going to talk a little bit more about this volatile acidity. And then we're also going to talk with your event coordinator.
You sure
right?
are. And she's in the room.
And her full name is?
You want to come over and introduce yourself? I'll let her.
She's been with you for what, 3 years? But
Hannah, how long have you been with us? 3 years.
Exactly.
But Hannah's been in this role for a year?
A little under.
A little under a year. Okay, she's
doing a wonderful job, by the way, folks.
We're going to say hi to her, and we're going to talk to her about the events that she's been booking, and then we'll have Chuck come back in the chair. We'll smell this. No, yeah, go ahead. Okay. We'll smell this, and then we'll taste this, and we'll see. Again, what happened to this darn wine? So, Hannah, what's your full name?
Hannah Euchre.
Hannah Euchre. Okay, so when you first started with Chuck, what role were you in?
I was a server, and I was on the event staff.
And then you moved into the event coordinator.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about that you've done here in the last under year?
We had a 320 person wedding in June. That was our max. That was a fun one.
Yeah, just go all in, Hannah.
Yeah,
it's like, okay,
yeah.
let me run with this. How many weddings do you do in a year?
It varies. We're at about 50 for this year, and we're getting close to that for next year as well. That's seeming like our new average.
Yep. So if you have had somebody just recently got engaged and you're thinking, wow, it would be great to have what we just showed you in that video as the place where you have your wedding. Yes, look into that. You can hold weddings here with how many people?
320.
320 is your max.
Yep.
We just did that.
So, wow. So she maxed out as soon as she took over the event coordinator position. But it's also other events beyond having weddings here. What else do you hold that people haven't maybe thought about?
Yeah, we have quite a few events, other events. So we do a lot of corporate events, bridal showers, baby showers. People come here for their bachelorette parties, engagement parties. We have a big fundraiser next week for Our Ladies Inn, if you're familiar, right off of Highway 94, they're local. And that's going to be about 250 people in this room. Yeah, we have stuff like that. And then just other corporate events that companies that want to get away during the fall, during the day and stuff.
Well, and I love that. A lot of you do think about coming to wineries in the fall, but one of the things that I love is coming here, having a great bottle of wine, and sitting by that fireplace that's back there when the snow's falling. I mean, there's nothing better than that. What's your favorite season here at Defiance Ridge? Is it fall?
I gotta say, no,
spring?
it's spring, because
Why?
that's when everything starts blooming again. We see the budding on the grapes and stuff like that. That's my favorite.
So from a unique standpoint of having events, have you gone to Chuck and said, hey, I would like to try out this, something new? What would that be?
Oh, yeah. We're always trying new things around here to see what works, especially like, we're in the customer service business. So if someone wants something, we're going to be like, let's see if we can do that. So recently, last weekend, we had a big ceremony up at our lake, and that was the first time we've done that. So that was pretty fun to kind of figure out the logistics of that. And that was a bigger wedding, about 240, so that was a good space for them to.
So they had the wedding up by the lake and then came over here for the reception?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So then, and again, if you have not been here, you haven't seen all the levels of what they can do here. I was asking Chuck how old the house is. You said 1890? 1897. Again, absolutely beautiful. And if you came here in the past and it was Wine Country Gardens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then you took it over at how many years ago? 7? In 17.
In fact, this time in 2017.
Okay, so Defiance Ridge Vineyards is what it became. So if you came in the past and you haven't been since 2017, big changes. We did something with a smaller group a while back, and I've been asked by a lot of what they call their Monica maniacs that watch the show. They're like, we need to come out and like have an event. So do you remember a long time ago that we did a yoga and then a dinner, a tasting?
Yeah.
So would you do like puppy yoga or goat yoga out here?
I think we would definitely consider that.
We've had yoga.
Yeah.
Have you had goats or puppies though?
No. I don't think so.
No, we haven't done
no
animals.
ghosts. Maybe puppies, but no ghosts.
We have to corral them.
Yeah.
So
Puppies
again,
are a good idea.
yeah, puppies. I mean, it's funny because the puppies crawl all over them and you just laugh and you're working your core a little bit more. But so if somebody came to you and said, I have this idea, can we pull this off? You probably welcome that.
Yeah, we definitely do. We like any new ideas around here.
Yeah.
So
Customize something.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you like to see in the next year or 5 years as you are the event coordinator?
I don't know, just continued growth.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely that puppy yoga would be fun. More weddings, always more weddings. They're my favorite.
Well, let me ask this because you just took it over within the last year, but you've been here in the last 3, which was coming out of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is starting to try to evolve and grow again. I know Chuck's just off camera, but if we look before the pandemic, how many weddings would you have had? Were you nearing the?
Oh, we were doing
80,
75.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So let's get that back, right? It's getting all that growth back again, and people thinking of staying here instead of going into a destination. Mm-hmm. This is a destination.
Yeah.
Depending on where you live, this is a destination that you can try for. So if they want to reach out to you, what's the easiest?
Just through our website. We've got lots of ways to contact us that will get back to me.
So weddings, anything exciting in the next couple of months before the end of the year?
Nothing too exciting. We're looking forward to that Edward Jones event, and we've got a bunch of bigger events next weekend. Yeah. Just bigger weddings and stuff like that are going to be fun.
Crazy time
fun
of
to
year.
Pull off.
And I love the fact that you said corporations think about that. I mean, again, do you do anything special for the holidays around Christmas time with corporations?
We do a lot of holiday events with corporate parties. Yeah, we can do, and those, are customizable as well. If there's something that, I have this vision for my holiday party, we can do what we can to pull it off.
Bushwhacks.
Bushwhacks and Hollywoods are so good if you've never seen them play. Well, and it's such a huge property that you could probably have a couple of different things going on, maybe, depending if it's a smaller.
Yeah, depending on weather and such. And I know we were talking about doing a holiday trivia as well. Yep. Sometime in December, so keep an eye out for that.
I forgot about the trivia. We used to talk about trivia nights on Fridays, and those paused. So that's coming back for the holidays?
Yeah. Usually they start January 2026 or 2025 is when we would start it. But this one we're doing special for the holidays.
And then we also talked about, is it Friday, October 25th?
The 25th is the big Silver Bullet. The Bob
Silver
Seger.
Bullet, Bob Seger tribute band, right?
Yeah,
Bonfire,
fireworks.
Yeah. Look on the website for all of that, DefianceRidgeVineyards.com. You can find out more about that. I think that's a lot of fun. I put that one on the calendar. But music, we're talking about, let me actually go to your website for a second. If you have not been, go to DefianceRidgeVineyards.com. Captain Bulkhead and the Portholes will be here on Saturday from 1 to 4. Anita Rosamond and friends. What kind of music does Anita play? Do we know?
Oh, Anita is, she's been around she's played with Orville.
Oh.
And they just play hot.
Is it like Motown, R&B?
They do a little bit of that.
All right.
And
that's Sunday, 1 to 4. Funky Tea Party. That'll be the following Saturday from 1 to 4. Scott and Carl, who I absolutely love, dear friends, will be Sunday, the 29th from 1 to 4. And then we get into October already, which I just can't believe. October is always big here, right?
This is the biggest 10 weeks. We'll do 25% of our business in the next 8 weeks.
So 25. It's right now. Right now, for the next 8 weeks, will be absolutely crazy. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I love it, and congratulations on the growth and just continuing to grow. All right, we're talking about volatile acidity. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Chuck come back into the chair, and we will discuss this a little more. Thank you, by the way, to Ashlyn, who posted that article that Chuck sent me earlier, talking about volatile acidity. And as we mentioned at the very beginning, it's not a good thing. You don't want this happening. We'll have more with Chuck when we return.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank
Exactly. One of our things we always say is we want everybody to leave with a smile.
Oh, and trust me, they do. I've seen a lot of smiles here today. There's so many levels of why you will love these ladies, but giving back to the community, supporting the community, collaborating with other businesses.
Base pace. Now we give parameters here. Power walkers generally use incline. Yeah, I know.
Go, girls, go.
Because you're not only getting some great local roasted coffee, you're getting good people.
Good people is what it's about. And by the way, that person who turned up their nose, karma is that you know what.
Everyone needs to be kind. And it starts really with the adults. And then it goes down because we're the ones that are instilling this in our children, in our families, and everything thereafter.
We are live on location. And this is a really cool thing. This is exactly what we can do from your business. We call it Mobile Monica. You know, I'm always on the move.
Actually tastes better than it smells.
Getting mobile Monica, as you can see, Defiance Ridge Vineyards in Defiance, Missouri. That's where we are. If you are just tuning in, welcome. I'm going to jump over here to Instagram really quick and see if anybody, hello there. Hi, Tammy. I'm not sure if you're still on, but thanks for joining. Eric Lovelace was on earlier. A bunch of people hopping on and off of Instagram. Thank you for that. We are live right now, by the way, on multiple platforms, Facebook, both of my pages. We are also on YouTube, X, Rumble, and Instagram. All right, before we do this, I'm going to show this picture online, and you tell me if you recognize him. If I wouldn't have said, would you have recognized who it was?
I recognize him, but I didn't know who it was at first.
So he's in town, by the way, tonight, folks. If you didn't get tickets, you're missing out. His name is Teddy Swims. I found him on Instagram 4 years ago and listened to his voice. His voice does not match how he looks. So I told my husband, don't look at the screen, just listen. And he's like, oh, this guy's got a great voice. Play the next song. He's very R&B-esque, very much more Motown-esque. And so there was like 3 songs I played for Jim. And then he's like, well, let me see the guy. And I said, don't judge. And I turned and he's like, oh, wow, he's got tattoos all over the place. He does. It reminds you of Jelly Roll.
Yeah. So where are you seeing him?
At the factory.
Oh,
which I have not been to. Have you?
I have not. No.
All right. Well, I'll have to weigh in on this next time I see you.
When does it start?
6:30.
Oh, well, that's good. At least you'll get some sleep.
Yeah. No, I won't. I'm just going to go there early, and yeah. Well, I think it'll probably wrap out. I don't know if somebody's opening for him or what. But if any of you have been to the factory, let me know. I've not been to the venue, but this is the kind of venue I'm told that you would want to go to. So tonight, Teddy Swims. Keep an eye on my social, and I'll tell you all about it. But if you know the song Lose Control, that's all over the radio right now, probably on Sirius as well, then you'll know him. We're talking about this, volatile acidity today with Chuck Gillentine. So you see these guys and ladies, they're smelling the aroma of the wine, which normally is very pleasant. But with this, maybe not so much. We mentioned earlier that you could have this and it could smell like nail polish.
It could.
But that's not
and that's
very good.
Usually the telltale sign of it.
Okay. And so unfortunately, Chuck just got a batch in, and this is from what area?
It's from Sonoma, but it's all a winemaker issue. It's not anything
It's not
with
that
the grapes.
winery.
It was just not treated well.
2022 Pinot Noir Reserve.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. I'm sorry that it's not scratch and
So,
sniff for
Pinot's my favorite grape.
It does not smell good at all. There's my reaction.
Well,
Sindra, great venue, she just said about your venue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sindra.
So it's very pruny.
Okay, but sometimes I got to tell you this. There's some fabulous wine that I usually do this. That is actually, you said earlier, it tastes better than it smells.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Winemakers
really
love to have a little acidity in their wines, just a little bit. Then the legal limit is 1.4% for whites and 1.5 for reds. I believe that's right.
Okay.
And this is over the legal limits.
And honestly, okay, so after I swirled it a little bit, It didn't smell as bad. I wouldn't keep swirling this because it's just bringing it more and more out.
Yeah, I mean, it smells hot and it smells pruny.
Yes.
And it smells like nail polish.
It does. Oh, man, like what color? It would look pretty on my nails. It would not smell and taste good. Okay, it really, God, it stinks. Chuck, man. Okay.
Well, you got to take the good.
I'm taking
the
one
bad
for the
with
team
the
here.
good. Here we go.
we're gonna taste it now, folks. This is Volatile Acidity in a glass. Gross. Thanks a lot.
Well, I didn't know you'd react like that.
Oh no,
but no,
no.
It's.
Oh, it tastes bad.
Yeah,
it tastes like
just,
it is turned
so
and sour
you
and
know,
stinky.
So you can't put a beautiful.
He's not
what
selling
should have
this
been
to
a
you.
beautiful wine in on the shelf. So we'll figure out what.
When did you get this? I do not want any more of this. When did you get this in?
Got it in into May.
Ooh, and you
and we I think when we first tasted it, we said, okay, let's give it some time in bottle just to make sure. And you know, it just hasn't done anything. There's my good friend Norm driving up.
Oh,
again.
Norm. You know what? If you come to Defiance Ridge, you'll probably see Norm a lot. So you will not be served this because it's not good. He's going to try to blend it with Chamberson. You said Chamberson Rosé?
I'm thinking about trying to blend it. It may end up going into barbecue sauce.
Well, right. And here's the thing.
I mean, this is great cooking wine.
I was just going to say, instead of throwing stuff away, because again, the economy we're in, don't throw anything away.
Oh, it's great. It's great food making.
This would be great with food making.
Oh yeah, you just reduce it down, and it'll make a great
little
sauce.
braised beef.
Oh sure,
right?
Oh, I mean, it's a big Pinot. It's a big fruity Pinot.
So if you can't do a blend, then just have your magnificent shelf.
40-something cases of wine is not a whole lot for a winery. So, I mean, it's probably 6 months of sales in the reserve in.
Wow.
But
they're going to take care of you, right?
They'll take care of it. Yeah.
Okay.
They're already offered me
thing.
something, and we're negotiating. So.
Okay, I don't know why I keep smelling it. Well, actually, like I said, it gets better. So if I didn't do this, which a lot of people don't actually swirl a wine the way we do, but I do because you want to smell all the aroma of it. Right.
When you open it up,
I don't want to open this one up.
It really comes at you.
There it is again. Yes. Yeah. What else do you smell besides nail polish?
Well, I get very, very, very ripe prunes.
Yeah, I don't smell.
I get very ripe pruny and my personal flavor profile is not. I'm not a prune profile flavor at all.
I smell the prune now, but I can't get past just how. You know what we're talking about, right? It's nail polish remover is what it smells like. It's just that really strong smell.
It's just turned into vinegar.
Neck.
I mean, kind of vinegar-ish.
Yeah, so that's why I showed that earlier, and he doesn't look happy in this picture at all, right? This guy right here, he's
not at all.
He's like, yuck.
And the first video I sent you this morning from the Italian winemaker explaining it, that's very interesting. As most of it's about VA, but the first of it is kind of jumps all over the place. But the last end of it is pretty good. And
it smells like it is a very high alcohol content.
Oh yeah.
That's the other thing. So what does this Pinot Noir have from an alcohol content?
It's under 14%.
Oh, okay.
But it's not.
This smells like it has 60.
I don't think it is.
What are you going to do with this? Put it in something. Don't throw it away. Put it in something and make some beef.
No. We'll do something with it. I am not a thrower away, so we'll find something. You know, we make our own barbecue sauce. It can be used for that. Yeah. And if we can't blend it, then we'll probably do that.
Have any of you ever heard of this? Is what I love about Chuck. He and I have been friends for a long time, but every time we come on here, we've got different ideas. Sometimes we're laughing together. Sometimes we are educating. Aha moments. I had never heard of volatile acidity. Now I know. I would not want to smell this again. Tell them what it tastes like. They won't taste this because you won't be given this. But
to me, it's overripe stewed prunes with a very high alcohol content.
Yeah,
it burns.
It does. Okay, thank you. That is what I was like. Is it just me? It burns my stomach as soon as you taste it. Mm-hmm. As soon as it went down, not good. And he said, I think anybody would know.
A ton of flavor. I mean, it's got a lot of flavor, but not the flavor you're looking for.
No. All right. See, education of wine, which, what is that? Vino Vitae? Wine Life?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wine education?
Yeah. Well, you know, you're into this stuff. You know it pretty
And,
well.
and I know that, but I'm telling you right now, any of you that would come here right now, you would know, hey, Chuck, something's wrong, but he wouldn't even service you. They knew beforehand.
Yeah, we took it off the shelves. So.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you all. And oh, hey, Dr. Sarah just joined in. Ashlyn, thank you for dropping in all the information. If you want to know more about volatile acidity, she's dropping all these comments in for you. A little goes a long way, and it's not something that you are wanting. Great article, great video that you can watch. Just so many levels of why this happened. So there you go. Thank you, my friend.
We'll see
Now,
you at the lake.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so tell them what's going to happen in a couple of weeks.
So we're gonna you and Jim are coming out. We're gonna cook. I'm gonna cook a rack of lamb, sorry, and we're gonna have a little show. We're gonna talk about some wines that we're drinking that night, and we'll drink a few. We'll have champagne. We'll have probably a Barbera that will go with it, and probably something else.
So you'll be able to see our spouses, by the way, because I'm going to have Michelle and Jim come on as part of it. They'll probably both.
And you'll get to see my little baby Frenchies.
Oh, I can't wait. I've only seen pictures of them.
Yes.
So this is in what area again?
Lake Sherwood. Yeah, it's a 35-minute drive from here.
What's it closest to?
New Melly.
New
Melly and Marthasville is kind of in between.
So the New Melly Lakes we just talked about in our news you can use earlier this week.
Yeah,
the dog park.
Well, I heard about that. That's great.
Yeah, because
make it closer for us.
I was going to say, because Brummelsik, if you all heard in the news, they had that blue algae, which is toxic to your animals. You don't want that. They were going to drain that. I was wondering what they were going to do. They're not bringing that feature back, but they're going to do something with the dog park with New Melly.
I think that's great. I mean, we drive our little Polaris over there all the time with the dogs to walk. It's a beautiful park.
Well, there you go.
I mean, it's huge. You know, it used to be the golf course.
Yes.
And the lake is enormous.
Do your dogs swim?
One does. Frenchies are not known for swimming. No. Truffles, our little youngest one, loves to swim.
Truffles
and Stony. Stony will play around in the water, but they wear life jackets when we have them out.
Good.
We'll maybe we can go out in the boat too.
Yeah, weather-wise, I hope.
If we can.
Well, I mean, look at this. We are officially still in summer. We start fall on Sunday, but oh my gosh, with you taking care of all the property out here, we're still talking the next few days of 90, 91, 92. I know, you're ready.
We need some
rain.
Right.
Well, we're going to get a slight chance. 20, 30% over the next handful of days. We'll show you that forecast tomorrow morning when we come on. We're going to do positive talk time, by the way. Tomorrow, we're going to do a parade of dogs. Oh, wow. All the dogs. Well, we're going to be at Yuppie Puppy for positive talk time. But the thing is, we're going to show the dogs that are long timers. We're going to show the dogs that people aren't giving chances to. I don't know why. I do want to say I'm so excited that Guinevere, who was looked down upon. She had cancer. She came back from that. Nobody wanted to give her a chance, and then this guy did. She was just adopted. Wow. Karen, the corgi, who was sassy and I was told was a brat, found her forever home. So I love what they do. I know you're a big fan of Jessica's. Are you going to be in town for the gala?
I don't even know when it is.
October 19th.
Probably. I will be in town. It's the next 10 weeks is pretty crazy here.
Well, folks, if you haven't purchased your tickets yet, I am emceeing and auctioneering, want to raise a ton of money for them. A Whole New World Gala. It is October 19th at Whitmore Country Club. Yes, starting at 5:30. That's when cocktail hour begins. And then silent auction, live auction. The dogs will be there. And wait for this. There is a woman who is an animal communicator. She swears that she can tell you what the dogs are thinking.
Wow, that's cool.
Yep. Jessica originally was like, I don't know about this, but she told Jessica things that only Jessica knew.
Wow.
I know. I'm really excited about that.
That's
so
crazy.
Many reasons to be at the gala. If you haven't bought your tickets yet, we want to sell it out. They are at, I think, about 170 tickets right now. A true sellout would be 300. So you're ticking, running out of time to buy the tickets. Support them. $90,000 it cost last year for them to take care of all the dogs. So they need your help. All right. So if you haven't heard about it, it's, again, October 19th. All right. Sarah K is amazing. That will be cool. Sarah K. Yes. And then, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? Steve from Steve's Hot Dog. Steve is going to be, he used to be with The Urge. Steve Ewing. He is performing that night.
Okay. Yeah. He's been out here several times.
Has he? Okay. Yep. So he'll be performing that night. There you go. Sandra, I don't know about Sarah, but can't wait for that. All right, my friend. Thank you. I am not going to toast you or cheer you with that because it's not good.
This will find its way down the sink.
Everyone, have a great one, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.